This video is brought to you by HelloFresh, more about them later in the video. Jagex just changed the way that players will play RuneScape. If you think about the standard RuneScape storyline from start to finish, you might start by killing Lumber's chickens, then do quests, train your skills, get a clue scroll, die to a PKer, vote no to every PvP update from then onwards, learn some player versus monster, and then get lured for all your GP, and then try to forget everything that happened by starting an Iron Man. Well, if you had theoretically gotten to the point of raiding, you might have done Tombs of a Masket. That's a raid that even the casual players can actually do, granted at very low invocation. But Chambers of Xeric, that's a whole nother level. Yes, you can learn it over time, but it's objectively much more difficult for the average Joe. Well, the poll Jagex released last week had 26 questions on it related to the Chambers of Xeric, and every single one of them passed. And all of these are going to make the raid so much more accessible and fun. This is going to completely change the average person's journey through RuneScape because raids 1 will be so much more desirable to do, with less defense on monsters, less inventory juggling, potentially one strange weapon buff, and a bunch of other updates, which we'll get into right after this short ad break. Within the Night Sword quest, I prepared the most delectable warm red berry pie for Thurgo. Would you like me to prepare and give you a warm red berry pie? Well, I can't do that right now because the star isn't gonna mine itself. But luckily I'm working with HelloFresh to let you know that they will deliver other delicious food straight to your doorstep. They have a ton of calorie-smart pre-portioned meals that you can choose from. I personally like the 15-minute meals because they're just as delicious but take almost no time. Turn to the season's limited fall time flavors. There are beautiful desserts like the apple cider cake with caramel sauce, and don't forget the mini pumpkin cheesecake. It's no red berry pie, but even Thurgo is a fan. If you're a first-time enjoyer, you can get 16 free meals, so you'd feel stupid not to try it out at least once. Go to the top link using the code on screen to get those 16 free meals because that's a fantastic offer. Give it a shot. So on top of the abundance of energy pools, faster herb growth times, the ability to see more dropped supplies instantly, and stackable planks, Jagex made some proposals that have already had impacts on the game economy. For example, one of the rarest rewards from Chambers is an Elder Maul. They've proposed that each hit of an Elder Maul would reduce the enemy's current defense by 5%. Now this was one of 4 proposals, and they said this could apply to Tecton or every monster. Reducing a monster's defense without a special attack or a spell is unprecedented, and this definitely disrupted the market, causing a meteoric rise in the Elder Maul's price on the Grand Exchange. It had been hovering around 10 million GP for years, less than 1% of the value of a Twisted Bow, which has the same rarity. After this change to the Elder Maul hit the public domain, the price surged to 24 million GP over the next few days, a 140% increase. It has since settled at still over 70% of its original price at just around 17 million GP. But once again demonstrating the effects of this blog on the game, players saw that spells will be more effective on the Ice Demon, and instantly looked at purchasing the Harmonized Orb. The Harmonized Orb attaches to the Nightmare Staff and is best in slot against the Ice Demon. So the orb shot up 50 million GP in a matter of hours. These are interesting speculative investments, but really are just the tip of the iceberg of the effects we'll see on the broader game. And according to Jagex, we'll see these updates come through shortly after mid-November. And welcome to the community channel. The time is here. We were all looking forward to Sick Nerd making a new hardcore.
Ah! Jesus Christ, man.
Not a great start.
I had a panic telly from my paladin, bro.
He decides to rush some quests.
What? What? The hell, man? What? That can happen?
Foe had something to say about it, an end of an era.
The new fleet really died already? He did. It's a funny death though.
Will you be grinding Coliseum? Yeah, in a weird way, I need the farmers to die. I know that sounds weird, but in a weird way, I need the farmers to die before the Coliseum comes out, so I can go grind some gear on my main iron to improve my gear for the Coliseum.
Huh. So he did die to Tecton on purpose.
Our gains are going alright, but we can't get this black moss, bro.
Collection log completed.
Yeah, finally.
But if you're trying to fight and someone's just sitting on top of your head, stresses me out.
So Jagex has updated the blog post about next week's star mining nerf. They were going to double the price of everything in Desurai's shop, but now they've decided not to double the prices and keep them exactly how they are. They've also clarified that stars should be found more often with the new timer, and even said clue geodes will be coming back. Congrats to Impling only, but you're still not getting those random events. They also said they're open to some small tweaks to other mining content, with discussion starting next month and the changes to come early next year. With some of the highest yes percentages we've ever seen in a poll, the Chambers blog is a hit, especially compared to the sailing poll, which barely squeezed by. But with most content passing polls, especially with the new yes threshold of 70%, do players still feel the polls are necessary?
What do you think of the poll system? Do you think it should be removed so Jagex can just make content? No, I think we need the poll system so that Jagex doesn't make crap content. Honestly, I would be saying something different if sailing didn't pass. If sailing didn't pass, I'd be pretty pissed off with the poll system.
If the poll system is useful, should Jagex get rid of it just to make content? So, my honest opinion, bro, is in an ideal world, yes, I would remove the polling system. But with the actions of Jagex at the moment, I wouldn't trust them because I think that they would try and push more and more and more updates into the game that could be game breaking that people wouldn't want, and it could potentially f it. I genuinely believe that they would just push it above and beyond to just try and make as much money as possible, make everything look f***ing a lot better for the next people that are trying to buy it, bro. So I'll be honest, bro, I said this ages ago, right? And people actually laughed at me, bro. And I said, when the f***ing new worlds, when the fresh start worlds were announced and you needed bonds and shit, people were saying, oh, it's more money, it's a new account. And I went, no, it's not, bro. What it's for is to make the game look a lot more active and like there's like a new player base coming into it. I was like, because they will say, oh yeah, we had X amount of signups in this quarter. And people were like, no, they're not, bro. That's stupid. They're just trying to make money from bonds. I was like, okay, bro, you'll see. The whole fucking polling system, bro. Like, I love the beauty of RuneScape back in the day of like getting an update and not knowing what the was in it and having that excitement, bro. You know what I mean? Back in the day, bro, I remember when Hunter came out. I was at school. I was like, Hunter comes out tomorrow, man. Like, me and my mates were like, yeah, bro, like, what is it? I was like, knows, I ain't got a clue. And we all went home, bro. Every single one of us didn't know anything about it, and we literally just leveled it, bro. No questions asked. It was a new level. We had to get it up, bro. And that was it, bro. We just lenged it out. We just tried to get as much XP as possible, tried to go for the first 99s, like amongst each other and but that is lost now. And that is why I like genuinely I love RuneScape, but I think that's the reason why I burn out so much, because everything has to be pre-released, pre-screened. Reddit has to have their say.
So Beardy trusts the devs enough to remove the polling system by the sounds of it, but he doesn't trust the Jagex execs behind the scenes to not keep their hands out of the cookie jar. A reasonable fear.
Do you think the poll system is still useful? I think Jagex should get rid of it so I can just make content. I feel like if the content's good, it will pass anyway though, right? So they don't really need to. The poll system's quite nice anyway. It's nice to allow the players to feel like they're slightly in control, you know? Kind of. I mean, it's been a thing since old school came out. It's how even old school even came out in the first place. So almost all content passes at the moment. Well, that's because the content's good, you know? High quality shit, you know? If it's genuinely bad, it won't pass. It needs to be somewhat decent, you know? But then you got to think, like, would Jagex even bother trying to pull it if it was shit?
MMORPG makes a good point. Old school RuneScape wouldn't exist at all without the polling system.
You think the polling system is still useful? Should Jagex do away with it and just release content? Yes and no. No, in that the polling system does not really provide the same, it doesn't really provide the same sieve that it used to with the lower passing threshold, but I do still think it is highly pertinent that there be some barrier to entry to Jagex's decision making, because they have a proven track record of releasing dog content if left unchecked. Maybe a little bit less so these days, in that there are many J-mods who are like end game characters and they understand the game and the community wants and needs, but it's still going to happen. They're still going to come out with dog. And just having the polling system there for people to express their opinions in the open forum, I think has protected us from a lot of garbage, and I think it still does protect us. If Jagex really wants something to come into the game, they just bring it into the game. They'll manipulate the wording of a poll, or they'll re-poll things fucking 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
The polling system is just a front at this point. Have you noticed, like, nothing really fails anymore unless it's, like, 1, a PvP update, 2, a free-to-play update, or, like, 3, a new skill, but even that's passing nowadays. Think of the polling system like the NFL or the NBA. The results are rigged. So my thoughts on the polling system is, like, the players should have, like, a general say in, like, the direction of, like, what kind of content they like the most. But as far as, like, designing it goes, they should talk to people that are very well versed in that. Like, if they're making skilling content, they should probably talk to the skillers. If they're making PVM content, they should talk to people from, like, Oblivion and That's Reddit for every update. True.
You know, it's tough, man. No matter what, somebody's going to be pissed off. And then it all comes down to who's willing to be the loudest. The way I see it, I'm going to trust the people that literally treat this game as a job, whether it's on either side of Jagex. I think content creators should get like a big say in a lot of things, what I think Jagex does well. Like, I think they should have player samples. You don't need to have like a whole entire player base having to vote on when overall you know that you wouldn't pitch something without the intention being to make a game better. I give Jagex credit in the sense of, I don't think they do things intentionally. I would hope not. So the way I see it is I trust them enough to pull the trigger on just to see what happens. It's okay. Get weird. Game's been out long enough. We have survived not having a raid for 3 years straight, not having PvP updates for years. We're still here. And not just that, you're now at the biggest player base you've ever been at in a long time. Don't f it up. You're doing a lot of things right. Is there gambling for points? Absolutely not. Not while there's a f***ing 1 bill drop party on the line.
As is the nature of old school, there are vastly different opinions on this, both for and against. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for this game, and since we're at our highest player count ever, the polling must be getting something right. But what do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Mutz tweeted that he secretly got spooned on 2 wilderness pets. Not quite as useful as Voidwaker, but another huge flex for the current best hardcore. Oh, and also about Mutz, do you guys want to see him guest host a RuneScape Chronicles episode? I think that'd be pretty cool. Leave a like if you want the king himself to guest host next video. Nevermore tweeted here that they got their dragon pickaxe on a level 3 Iron Man skiller, and apparently it took a lot of deaths, but they're willing to swap it for a dragon axe. Mr. Hehe is trying to learn RDO, but camping low hit points. At 14 KC, the streamer luck strikes. Bet you didn't see that coming.
He's dead. Good fights, man. What a nice stack, bro. What a nice stack.
A 110 damage stack.
A 15 miller. Nice. Let's go, boys.
The farmers are here while they can be. Foe.
There's a purple
I got a purple.
roidie.
Right,
No
way.
way.
It immediately. It's an arcane. It's an arcane.
Called it. Called it.
All right, I'll read it.
Shmakoh has a challenger for his throne. And that's a wrap for today. Look forward to the next episode where we'll feature more scapers with a special guest host, if you left a like anyway.